Hello everyone, welcome to Honara's Arts. Today's video is going to be a continuation of the series of videos which I started with Murugan, and in today's video I'm going to do Alankaram for Adi Shakti or Parvati. Now you might be asking, why is it that you showed Murugan first and now you are showing Adi Shakti or Parvati? Well, as I said, the story is going to come towards the later part of the video, not right now. Okay, so you will have to wait for that. You will have to wait at least for another couple of videos to understand the full story. So in today's video, I'm going to concentrate, or rather teach you all, on how to do Maharashtrian style of sari draping for a standing goddess. So over here, we are trying to achieve a Nauvari Saree draping, which is more of a traditional and a simpler side of Nauvari Saree draping, not the complicated one. And there's a good news for the complicated style of Maharashtrian saree draping. For that, I'm going to bring a new catalog very soon, maybe within a month's time or so. And then you all will be able to purchase them either for your Radha and Rani or for any of the standing goddess which are there, either in the temple or at your house. So please keep watching my videos and do look out for this particular catalog where you're going to find amazing collections for a standing goddess. Now, having said that, without wasting much time, let me just show you the final outcome of how beautiful the saree draping is. And at a later part of the video, I will be teaching you on how to do this. And also I will be narrating a beautiful story at the background. So now, let us go and have a look at how beautiful the saree draping has come out. In my previous video related to Mariamma Alankaram, I have already shown on how to paint the face of an idol to look exactly like this. So over here we are going to use exactly the same makeup and the same type of shading and everything, and we are going to continue to transform her into a Maharashtrian style of Parvati or Adi Shakti. So when I say that, I'm actually talking about the forehead painting and the bindi that we are going to keep and the saree draping. So in case if you want to understand on how this particular Alankaram has been done, or the painting and the face contouring and all has been done, then please refer back to my Mariamma video and get an idea, and from there on you can follow up with this video to transform her into Adi Shakti that I am doing right now. So this is the saree that I'll be using today. The way in which I have pleated is I have left nearly this much of length so that the saree can go at the back side of the idol, and then I have got the center pleats like this, okay, and then I have pleated the rest of the pallu in this way. So this time I have not pressed the saree anywhere because the kind of saree draping that I am going to do is a Maharashtrian style. So for that, if we press the pleats and all, it's not going to look nice. So please note that. Let me narrate a beautiful story while I am trying to show you on how to drape this beautiful Nauvari saree draping for Adi Shakti. So in today's story, I will be telling you about Ma Parvati and her birth. But before I narrate Ma Parvati's story, I think it is essential for us all to know about goddess Sati. This is a very common story and many of you would have heard about it, but there are also many small children who are watching my channel, and today I would like to narrate it for them as well as for my own son who is 8 years old. So as I said, to understand who is Ma Parvati, it is very essential that we know the story about goddess Sati. Sati, also known as Dakshayani, is a Hindu goddess for longevity and marital felicity. An aspect of Parvati or goddess Adi Shakti, Dakshayani is the first consort of Lord Shiva. Sati is known to be extremely fiery with a frightening temper. However, she is also loving and extremely benevolent by nature. According to Hindu legend, both Sati and Parvati are aspects of the Devi who helped Shiva come away from his ascetic isolation and involve himself in samsara, that is the material world. Sati is famous and sometimes rather infamous for the fact that she immolated herself in the sacrificial fire when she saw that her husband was being humiliated. So intense was her love, loyalty and passion for her husband that she could not tolerate to live on when he was being belittled by her own father. So here comes the story of goddess Sati and what really happened and why did she take such an extreme step. Queen Prasuti and her husband King Daksha had a desire to beget a daughter. They approached Daksha's father, that is Lord Brahma, for advice and he asked them to meditate to goddess Adi Parashakti. The couple immediately left the palace in order to appease the all-powerful Devi. Traveling deep into the forest, they located a suitable spot and started meditating on the deity. They braved harsh weather conditions and quietly sat in meditation, not minding even the wild animals in the forest. After testing them for a very long time, Devi Adi Parashakti appeared before them in an effulgent form with 1,000 hands holding infinite weapons. She was draped in a blood-red saree and was bedecked in ornaments carved intricately, studded with gems, wearing a gold armor and a crown. The Devi was pleased with couples' devotion and granted them any boon they desired from her. Daksha told the goddess about their long-time desire and asked her for a daughter. The Devi granted them a boon, saying that she herself would be born to them, but additionally, she warned them that she were ever to be insulted in any way, she would immediately take her original form, disown everyone and live their lives forever. Daksha and Prasuti agreed to the Devi's conditions and, happy to have been granted their boon, returned to the palace. As per the boon, Adi Parashakti took human birth and was born to Daksha and Prasuti. This is why she is known as Dakshayani, that is Daksha's daughter. Brahma had so designed that Sati should grow up and marry Lord Shiva. It was also Adi Parashakti's own will to bring Shiva out of his penance. Even as a child, Sati adored Shiva and would love to hear stories and legends associated with him. Sage Narada would often come to the palace and regale her with stories of Shiva. As time went by, Sati's devotion for Shiva grew by leaps and bounds, and she had decided that she would marry only him. She received several proposals from rich and valiant princes, but she had eyes only for the Lord of Kailas, that is, God of gods Mahadev. In order to win over the ascetic Shiva, Sati left the comforts of the palace and bade goodbye to her parents. Walking into the forest, she decided to give up herself to severe penance and the constant worship of Lord Shiva. Going deeper into meditation, she started by renouncing food and water. At one point of time, she would eat just 1 leaf per day. Then she gave up even that. Her mother visited her in the forest and tried to force her to eat, but she refused to touch a morsel. This abstinence gave her the name Uma. She also decided to do away with her clothing. She braved the harsh cold and lashing rains in this condition, continuing to meditate only to her Lord. This earned her name Aparna. Her penance finally bore fruit. Realizing the extent of her devotion to him, Lord Shiva decided to manifest in front of her. Acceding to her wishes, he agreed to take her as his bride. Sati was happy beyond belief and then returned to her palace, awaiting the day when Shiva would come and take her away with him. Sati's arrogant father Daksha, though, was far less than pleased by this turn of events. He was a big devotee of Lord Vishnu and could not bear the fact that his favorite daughter was to wed someone lowly, in his opinion, such as Lord Shiva. In any case, Sati was firm on her decision to marry Shiva. She became his wife and then left for Kailasa to be with her husband. Daksha, in the meantime, could not reconcile to the fact that Shiva was his son-in-law. Hence, he decided to excommunicate his daughter from the rest of the family. Soon after the wedding, Daksha organized a grand yagna at his place where he invited all kings, princes, gods and goddesses to attend. He, however, decided not to invite Sati and Shiva. He was still unhappy about his daughter getting married to who he thought was his arch enemy, and so he planned to insult them both. On learning about Yagna, Sati begged Shiva to go with her. Shiva refused to give her to her wishes. An upset Sati was determined to attend the grand event and, defying Shiva's wishes, left alone to her father's kingdom. Shiva had warned her against going there, knowing she would be insulted and humiliated. However, when Sati would not listen to what he had to say, he sent his own troops to escort her there. On seeing her arrive at the yagna, Daksha was furious and started shouting and yelling at her, hurling insults at her and Shiva. He made it very clear that neither she nor her husband were welcome there. Sati tried to speak with her father and convince him, relating what a wonderful husband Shiva was and how happy her marriage was. However, Daksha turned a deaf ear to all this and just kept shouting at her and humiliating her and Shiva in front of one and all present there. Finally, Sati could not take it anymore. She had warned Daksha and Prasuti in the past, before she was born to them, that she would desert them if she was insulted in any way. Accordingly, she flew into rage and took the form of goddess Adi Parashakti. Her family and kings, saints, sages, gods and goddesses present there were frightened by her terrible form. She introduced herself to Daksha, saying that she was the eternal power, and stated that she would be giving up her mortal life by jumping into the sacrificial fire. She further cursed Daksha that he would be destroyed by her husband Shiva, thus saying she entered the sacrificial fire and ended her own life. Learning about all that happened at Daksha's place, also deeply saddened by Sati's death, an enraged and grief-stricken Shiva entered the location of the yagna and rendered the terrible Tandava, the dance of destruction. His dance activated the negative cosmic energy to the extent of destroying everything around. Later, he pulled out a couple of locks of his hair and threw them on the ground. From one lock arose Veerabhadra, Shiva's destructive incarnation. He was dark and frightful, having 8 hands, each holding a weapon. From the second lock of hair arose Bhadrakali, a dark and extremely violent incarnation of Supreme Goddess. She had terrible form with 18 hands, each holding weapons such as trident, discus, spear, mace, dagger, sword, vajra, conch, bow and arrow, and so on. Veerabhadra and Bhadrakali were a couple, working in tandem to destroy everything in sight. They were collectively known as Manbhadra. They were assisted by 8 other goddesses, namely Chamundi, Ishani, Mundamardini, Bhadra, Kali, Katyayani, Vaishnavi, and Twarita. The angry Shiva ordered them to start the process of destruction. Daksha was decapitated by Veerabhadra and Bhadrakali. The other 8 goddesses felt all of Daksha's and Briju's armies, gods, saints, and all other present there. This horrific destruction continued all night, after which Shiva finally relented and restored all that was destroyed and brought back to life all those who had slain. He even brought Daksha back to life and restored his kingdom. Shiva then substituted Daksha's decapitated head with that of a goat. Daksha was humbled by both Shiva's show of strength as well as his grace. He completely changed and became a great devotee of Lord Shiva. In the meantime, a totally grief-stricken Shiva carried Sati's charred body on his shoulder and roamed all around the world with it. According to one legend, Vishnu dismembered Sati's body, cutting it into 51 pieces with a Sudarshana chakra, that is discus. He named each one of them as Shakti Pitas. As Vishnu continued cutting them, they fell into the earth, scattering across various parts of India. Each of these body parts was a manifestation of the supreme deity Adi Parashakti. Shiva, who later regained his equanimity, incarnated as Lord Bhairava in order to complete the huge task of protecting and preserving each one of these Pitas. When Sati Devi left her body, Shiva became an ascetic. He just spent all his time in meditation. And at that time, a great asura named Tarakasura, the illuminator of duality, did tremendous tapasya, and Brahma came to him and said, "What do you want?" And he said, "I want to be immortal." Brahma said, "That's impossible. No one is immortal. Whatsoever comes into this manifestation must go out of manifestation." Srishti Sthiti Laya. This is the cyclical transformation of energy. Nothing is permanent. Choose another boon. So Tarakasura, this illuminator of duality, he said, "If my death has to occur, I want it to be slain only by the son of Shiva." Brahma said, "Why would you want a boon like that?" And Tarakasura said, "Well, Shiva doesn't have a wife and he spends all his time in meditation, and it doesn't look like he is going to have an opportunity to get a wife. If he doesn't have a wife, what question is there of his having a son? So therefore I will become immortal." And Brahma said, "Tathastu, I give you the boon," immediately without any hesitation. And Tarakasura became the ruler of the three worlds. He conquered the entire earth, made everyone on the earth a servant of the illuminator of duality. He marched up to heaven and he threw all the gods out of heaven, and the gods were extremely depressed. We lost our divinity and now we have to wander around the earth like human beings. So then gods devised a plan. We have got to find a way to make Sati Devi come back into her body. And they all went to Himalayas. They went to the Devi Mandir and began to chant, and they began to practice meditation and perform tapasya, and they enkindled the divine fire and they started a yagna. And they all sat around the yagna fire and chanted the mantras and made offering. Finally, the Divine Mother was pleased and she said, "What do you want?" And the god said, "Shiva is sitting there like there is no tomorrow. All he does is meditate. He has no responsibility whatsoever and he will not get motivated until you come back into your body. So we are going to request you, please Ma, manifest into a form and marry Shiva and give us the son that is going to lead the armies of Devatas to victory. Only the son of Shiva can conquer Tarakasura." Ma said, "Tathastu, I give you the boon, and I will come into the body in the home of Himalaya, because Himalaya has been worshipping me with one pointed attention, and in fact he doesn't move. There is no one as steady and as solid as the Himalayas. He just sits there making japa yuga after yuga after yuga. I'm going to become Shailaputri, the daughter of mountain and the goddess of inspiration, and I will perform tapasya, and if Shiva will have me, I'll marry Shiva." And the gods were filled with extreme joy, and then they waited for the birth of Parvati, the daughter of Parvat. And this completes the story about the birth of Parvati as well as goddess Sati. And I hope you all have liked this story. So I hope you all have liked this video. If so, please click on the like button and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to click on the bell icon to get automatic notifications every time I release a new video. Thank you.